Testing one, two. How's everybody doing out there today for the Vamp Show? Man, excited to have Eric Choe here in the house with us tonight, one of the legends of crypto. Seriously, this guy has been in crypto longer than I own some of my original underwear. And let me tell you what, that has been a long, long time. All right, say hi to everybody out there, Eric.
Hey guys, how's it going? Eric Choe here. Great to be here, Chris. Thanks for having me.
No, man, great to have you, buddy. So, you know what? What an exciting day we've had. Actually, exciting couple days we've had here in crypto. We got a fresh chart ripped open here with some of Eric's indicators that he likes to use on it, and just looking at the price action we've had over this last couple weeks, absolutely roller coaster ride as we all kind of expected, right? We've had an amazing run up. It looks like we're coming back down now, trying to finally do a correction that we've all been waiting for. So we've all been waiting for this correction here. Some of the notes that we had on our chart yesterday. So let's just take a real quick gander. So we did come down. I was looking for a bounce. I don't know if you guys were watching my Twitter. We were looking for a bounce, and then we did get a bounce. I was shooting for 7,700. We got close. Now, do I think this bounce is over? I don't. I really don't. I would like to see us correct back a little bit more before continuing on. We're gonna kind of dig into this chart. So we're gonna have, and I'm gonna pull up the daily, and we're gonna see what Eric has to say. Eric, what do you think about the daily close and the daily momentum and where we're at today, buddy?
Yeah, Chris. So I definitely agree. I think that there is going to be some sort of support level here around 7.5 ish area, and it looks like that Bitcoin is having some momentum with the bullish wick there that we see on the daily close, and I think maybe around 7.8 is where we top off for this little bounce before we go back down. But yeah, I definitely agree. I think there is still some bullish momentum, especially on the 4 hour that we see. I think there's going to be a little bit more room to go there. And then as price goes down, we'll see a bullish divergence form on the 4 hour. So I think it's set up technically perfectly on the daily as well as the 4 hour charts. So yeah, that's where I see. I see 7.8 as sort of the target for the next day or two. And then hopefully the support around 6.8, 7.1 can hold for the next long opportunity.
Yeah, let me just throw this up on the chart right here for everybody, and this is the kind of the target I've been looking for also. I've been trying to get up here and get into this 7-8 region is where I was hoping we would get a little bit, I was hoping we get a little bit more of a bounce. The thing is, when I was looking at my original chart over here, what I don't like to see right here is I don't trust the 100-day moving average, which I use. Eric has got the 55 that he likes to use, and you see where that puppy is. That baby is for support is all the way down here on his daily right there. So Eric has got his support levels for his MAs down here. Eric, why do you like to use the 55?
Yeah, yeah, so the 55 is basically the Fibonacci golden ratio, right? So we use the 55 EMA as our main support line from an Elliott wave perspective and from a Fibonacci perspective. So we always target that line, right? And as you can see, it's been acting as support throughout recent history, and I do think that Bitcoin's going to follow this rule as we move forward. Yeah. Yeah, we're up about 52 right now. I do see this region, as we can see in prior history. We have RSI as acting as support now. I do see RSI maybe going down to the 40 level as well. as long as we keep above 40, in my opinion, I do think that BTC is still bullish in my eyes. Yeah. Yeah, so for the 4 hour, I love the 4 hour, how it's structuring right now. It's very technical, right? So what we're gonna see, what I'm thinking is what we're gonna see is price is gonna move up to around 7.8, with RSI going up as well. And then I do believe that price is gonna go back down to around 6.8, maybe 7.1, with RSI actually making a bullish divergence there. So RSI is not going to go lower, and that's where I'm going to be looking to buy in, especially for a bullish impulse. So um, yeah, I love the 4 hour chart. That's probably what I'm going to be using to play BTC for a swing trade over the course of the next week or so. Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's a lot more difficult to try to catch bounces, right, than shorting at the top. So I definitely agree. And what we usually see on the 4 hour guys is a double bottom where we see divergence in price action and the oscillator. So that's sort of where you should play longs if you're going to go in longs, just to make sure you have confirmation there, right? So we're trying to see if there's any bullish wicks, any confirmation in terms of candlesticks, right? Candlestick analysis. So once you see that divergence on the 4 hour, that's probably a good sign that there is momentum towards the bullish side. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. I'm just taking a look right now. It looks very interesting. Yeah, I do agree. I think that we may have an upswing where price does go down, maybe over the course of the next few days. So I can definitely see how this chart sort of correlates with what we're seeing today.
Yep. Okay. Oops. And I had myself on mute there for a second. Sorry. So, everybody, we're talking about this volatility chart right here, and just sorry, I had myself on mute for a second. We had this volatility chart right here, and volatility chart just shows. I've been tracking this, and I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, understanding that going up is bad, and today it's good because we did come back down a little bit, and I have been tracking this for 3 days now. Now I'm waiting and I'm watching for some kind of a bounce, and a bounce on this is something we all have to watch for. A bounce on this is very dangerous and will trigger the second we see this little a reversal on this. The second we see this reversal on this, it'll should give us a great signal for a short trade and or to flee to fiat. So I am watching this chart 24/7 just to keep everybody apprised. All right, let's go over and let's kind of, you know what I want to do is I kind of want to go through a little bit of a weekly summary right here. So we did have the end of month close, right? So we had our end of month close, and our end of the month looked like this great big nice fat green candle. All right. We are, starting a red one. So we did start a red one back down. I have to say that this is definitely a pattern, right? So up, down, up, down. Now we got a double month down. Now we got a month up. I want to go back, and something I've been meaning to look at is I've been meaning to look at this climb, this monthly climb up, and kind of get an idea of how many ups versus downs we had, and see if there's any kind of a correlation. Look at this. You see this? There's the 9. I don't know if you use TD count, Eric, or not. Do you use TD?
I don't. I personally don't use TD. I'm mainly Elliott Wave and Fibonacci, but
Go-
I definitely know the know the theory behind it. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so look at this. Here is the last green 9. And then
Yep.
this is bleeding. This is all bleeding. This whole thing bled out. Now, absolutely phenomenal how this parabolic move was, especially with the TD count on the monthly chart. But now that we're headed back down, it just seems to be a flip flop game all the way back down here. Now on the weekly, you can see my support line down here on the 30, and let me bring up the 50. I'd like to bring up Eric's 55. Actually, let me go. I'm gonna go over here. Here we go. Let's pull up. I'm gonna pull up the 55 in your chart because I'd like to take a look at that on a monthly timeline. And of course, I have Binance. Huge fail by the Vamp. I actually used a Binance chart. Can you believe that? All right, let me switch this chart. Dude, total fail. All right, here we go. There we go. There it is. There we go. All right, so on the monthly chart, Eric's got, oof. Man, that 55's deep, buddy.
Yeah, that 55 is pretty deep. That'll correlate, I think, pretty well with maybe around the 7-8 Fibonacci level, which is about 4.8. But we have a long way to go before then, if it ever does, and that assumes the possibility of a breakdown below, 5.7. But yeah, it's pretty deep. It needs to catch up for sure.
Yeah, look at how the 55 is working. The 55 is actually working as great support. So you see how on the weekly over here, it came along. We did get good support on all 3 of these candles. It worked at perfect resistance, perfect support, perfect resistance, support. And then it's come over here right now, and we broke back up through it. So trying to get back down. Now, if you are looking at Eric's, you are looking at his 55 MA. If this did come down, you've got 72.71 that's going to have to come down and compete with. So you'd probably be, by Vamp's terminologies, you'd probably be looking for a bounce right there if this thing did fall out of the sky. And this is where I'd be. Let me see this wick here. Nope, no, there's no wick there. Yeah, so on the weekly, there's Eric's 55 right there. But look at how well this chart, this line worked. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all really good signs of support and resistance by the 55. So there it is right there. Eric, what's your thought on this? Where do you think we're going in accordance to the new ETFs that are coming up here? The new
Yeah,
ETF
so
announcements.
it's going to be very, very interesting. Like, personally, from me, in terms of a technical perspective, I think that Bitcoin is in a bullish impulsive structure right now, right? I think it's going to be bullish, but any sign of denial, it could definitely shoot for maybe 5.8 again, and potentially lower if it gets denied. So we have to make sure we have both scenarios open, and that's what we're playing for, right? we have to take risks where it's necessary, and either way, I think we'll make money along the way.
Yeah, yeah, no, clearly looks like we're getting a bounce right here. We're getting a really nice bounce, a little bit of a rally. Yeah, I have a bunch of notes in the previous show, so I still feel, and I keep getting these charts that are sent out that we have a possibility that the ETF announcement is going to be on the 10th. So we're looking for the 10th. That's why I have this box here. The line of this box is on the 10th. And if the ETF gets postponed, Eric, what are your thoughts on the ETFs going through or not?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. If it gets postponed, that's okay because I still think that the technicals of BTC will still be in play, and it'll just be a catalyst to move forward if it gets approved or not, right? So I have no opinion on it. I think Bitcoin is set up to be in a bullish structure right now, and if the ETF is postponed, I don't think it's going to stop it. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep. All right. I actually turned your mic up a little bit. Okay. So, yeah. So I feel that, you guys know how I feel about the ETFs. Okay. One of the things I just saw recently on Twitter was I just saw a chart. In fact, I got that. Let me pull this up. Where is this? Give me 1 second. I have a chart. I wanted to just take everything. So one of the things that I did get this chart sent to me, and it said that the awaiting approval, the date was 8/10, right? So this is for the Van Eck, the Solid X Bitcoin Trust one. So this is for the next one that everybody's got, everybody's waiting for. You see, look at all the withdrawals. There's been a lot of withdrawals out there, and I don't know how recent these withdrawals are, right? But you've got a lot of withdrawn things that are out there. Now, of the ones that's out there, this Van X Solid X1 is supposed to be the most viable, right? The one with the greatest chance to get approved because it's backed by insurance. We are days away, right? So we are 9 days away from this getting approved. Eric, what kind of advice are you giving everybody for this possible approval and or denial or whatever you think is going to happen with ETFs?
Yeah, so I think that going into any type of position, you need to make sure your risk management is on point, have an exit strategy, um, and have that in play because anything can happen. I mean, Bitcoin is a trending asset. It's affected by news, and you have to have those sort of plays in mind where you're going to cut your losses if you're going to lose on a trade, or you're going to let things ride and continue to ride whatever direction it's going. But ultimately, you have to pick a side. You have to make sure that you're prepared for either direction, right? And I think it just takes time to develop, but ultimately, that's what you have to do. Just make sure that you're prepared either way, because honestly, anything could happen.
Yeah, so as we get closer, one of the things I have been telling everybody is, what, I will be hedging both directions going leading up to it, right? And I'm not worried about missing a couple hundred points. Who cares? So even if you miss 1,000 points and the ETF gets announced and it's positive, I think it's a lot safer just to wait till we get closer. I would like to just wait until we get a little bit closer up here. And then, just like Eric's saying, I mean, we're telling people the same thing. Listen, it's a good risk reward. It's a good chance. You don't often get the opportunity to have these kind of big R to R, big risk to reward trade setups done for you with a fundamental perspective. So this would be a really good opportunity. Now, I will warn everybody, there could be a massive pump and dump, right? So you got to be careful of that too. If it goes through, this thing could go a little, it could go a little impulsive on us and in both a positive and or negative direction. I would be really worried about putting in a trailing stop loss. I would have some kind of a trailing stop loss set just in case. I mean, how wicked this market is, and look at this wick right here. Just looking at this one wick right here gives you an example of how dangerous the marketplace is right now where we're sitting. Anything you want to add, Eric, about anything you see that's important out there? Any of the fundamental aspects of where Bitcoin is, Litecoin, Ethereum, anything at all?
You know, overall, yeah, that's a good point. Like overall, I do believe that we are in an impulsive structure and we are in sort of a mini bull run, Chris. And the reason being is, just from looking at the charts from just past experience, I haven't seen this type of technically traded, aspect of Bitcoin since last year. And it's very technical. Everything is hitting the mark, right? Everything is going to plan. And from what I'm seeing, I see this from an Elliott wave perspective, an impulsive move. And what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be continuously riding this uptrend until it breaks below the lower lows of the recent support, right? Of around like 5.7, 5.8. But ultimately, I think this is a great chance to have a great R&R and go long after a dip on Bitcoin and a lot of the USDT pairs. I'm not too sure about altcoins yet. I have no idea what altcoins are going to do, but in terms of just the USD pairs, it's looking pretty bullish in my point of view. And there's a lot of support for the bulls to defend, and I think it's going to be hard for the bears to get back down below the most recent support. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. I mean, the monthly chart is looking a little suspect, but in terms of just the overall feel, just the overall structure and price action, it's looking impulsive in my opinion. And I think we'll have an impulsive structure, you know, maybe for the month of August, maybe half of the month of August, but that's what I'm seeing so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things I'm also keeping an eye on is this weekly chart and these weekly candle setups right here. So I'm advising people to watch this combo candle setup. Now, if we break down here, this is actually kind of a good sign. If we break the bottom base in the wick of this candle with this red candle, that would be a good sign because that would tell me that this isn't setting up as an inside bar candle or some kind of a bearish harami. But if we stay inside this channel for the next 5 days, in this trading channel, and let me just throw this out here, right? So if this stays inside of this and this area right here, if we stay trapped in here, then this would set me up for a bearish following week, right? So this would be a bearish combo pattern on the candles, right? And then now, as you guys know, my two favorite candles, my two favorite MAs that I have, and if you go over, we now have the. Um, so let's load these up. All right. So as you know that you come over here, you guys can see this is what my biggest fear is, and this is my trade setup going forward is watching this death cross right here, right? So using a combination of Eric's support levels and my MAs, you see that you do have a lot of support down here, the 7,200, and then Eric was talking earlier about the 6,900 range. Eric, is that correct?
Yeah,
Right.
6,900,
So
7,100 area.
look at how perfect this lays out for Eric. So you've got your 7 MA on your weekly right there at 6970, right? So you're right in his support range right here. So this would be his catch zone. So we're just gonna put that in here. So this would be the Eric's catch zone.
Yeah, Chris, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go long at that level if it ever reaches there. So
Yeah,
that's a really good level. Yeah.
yeah. So, but as you see, you do have a lot. You have the support lane right there, and then you've got the. If you're looking at this, and this does dump out as a bearish candle, you do get the bearish crossover at the end of the week. This would be a perfect catch zone to get either a really nice bounce off of, because that's usually what happens in this case. You get these bearish candles, they bounce off, then they bounce up, and then they kind of finally fall out in this bearish setup. Now, remember, you can get an inside bar fakie, so you can get this falls out and then goes parabolic on you, and then you got to just reassess once this candle gets to wherever it goes. But let's watch this and keep an eye on both of these things. All right. I want to take this over to the 3-day. Eric, do you ever use the 3-day?
I don't use the 3-day, but I've seen a lot of people use it as well because it's dynamic. But yeah, we can take a look at the 3-day chart.
Yeah, so here we got the 3-day pulled up. You can see we had a little bit of a fallout. We started a brand new 3-day candle. Now, we've started this brand new 3-day candle under the 7MA, so it's trying to get back up over the 7MA. Now, you do have a lot of resistance on this. So, you guys, if you look here, your resistance level is 77.48 with the 50MA, right? And then you are sitting on this 7MA. Now, you got to be careful because in 3 days, this is going to set up a bearish cross and or a bullish cross. So you could have a bullish cross happen here in just a matter of 3 more days. I'm going to bring this to the front. That could be very detrimental to the price action. So this is also going to act as resistance above us. And there's your support level. So your support level down here is 7,300 on your 3-day. So there's the range right there. There's the catch zone right there. And this is kind of our 3-day outlook. Looking at this candle combination doesn't help me out. All I see is a spinning top here, which is a reversal candle. Then we fell out. Yep, there was the 55. Here's your 55. So Eric's 55 is coming in here. Yep, look at this. So Eric's 55 is coming in here, working as his support zone, as his resistance zone that he was talking about at his $7,800 range. So if you look, this kind of tees up right on his $7,800 range. There's Eric's top line call for where he thinks the bounce is headed to. There's a lot of support. There would be a lot of resistance in that range. Cool, right?
Yep, definitely.
All right.
There's a lot of confluence there. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's look back in history and see what kind of support and resistance we've got at any of these. Nothing really. Nothing real. The only thing I just see just right in here, there's a little kind of, you've got a little historical action right in there. And let's make this red. So you've got some historical action that's gone on right there. I don't know if that doesn't go all the way over. So on the 3-day chart, you've got a little confluence section that just runs right in that band, and that comes up in this 79.30 range. So we're gonna list this as historical. Oh. All right. Oh, and are we going to reconnect? There we go. All right. So we're going to list this out as historical resistance right there. Just a historical resistance zone. All right. You there, Eric?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, got it. So, really, just a couple. So, this is kind of where I see we're at. So, we've laid out some pretty good cases here. For some pretty good charts. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. I like this. I like that area. I like this. I like this cross right here. It's good setup. So that's good. And I like these support and resistance areas. This all looks great on the 3-day. 3-day looks like a pretty good play right here. I do like the idea of coming right back up here and getting some testing in, testing a couple of these levels. If you guys, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting too. I think there's going to be a short-term bounce here, and then probably a retest down to the lower 7K region. And I think that'll set up perfectly for a bullish divergence on the MACD on the 4-hour as well as the RSI on the 4-hour. And that's what what I think most traders are looking for as well.
Yeah. So here was my chart yesterday that I had put out. So my yesterday chart, we came down here, and so we're going to rip that off. So I came down. You can see the bottom arrow right there. So I said, hey, we're going to come back up. And we still have not gotten back up here to test this resistance. This is where the 50 days coming down. I do expect this to fall out once it gets up into this range. You can see here's a lot of resistance up here. There's that 7,900 range where there's a lot of resistance popping out above. I don't think I can change any calls on this yet. I think I'll have to just stick with this. I don't really see any. I don't see nothing in here is telling me, there's your daily right there. There's your support right there. Nothing. There's no easy trade setups right here. I just don't see anything easy here. Right?
Yeah, a lot of the trades right now, it's going to be mostly very short-term basis.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, just scalping this thing. So I still see, I still had this call come up, get into this resistance. And then you can see there's a lot of resistance actually up here higher. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to mark that down.
We're getting a bounce now.
Yeah, we're getting a bounce now. Exactly. Yeah, there it goes. All right. So there's a lot of resistance up here. Here's that resistance zone right here. I'm just going to make this a little fatter. All right. The other thing people like everything else, like BTC, I want one of the things that the most important tool you guys can practice is really patience. Patience is the key. Watching crypto is like watching paint dry, so it does like to take its own sweet damn time a lot of times. So just be patient in your trades. That's all I can ask from everybody. All right, Eric. Anything else? Let's see if we have any other questions here. People said I got that figured out. Yep, no sound. I got it. We're here. All right. All right. So just a couple of things I just want to go over with Eric is what got you into BTC? What got you into crypto?
Oh man, I think it's probably mostly the same with everyone. All the hype around Bitcoin back in August, October, November. It was just going through the roof, right? And when money's flowing that way, a lot of heads turn. So that's sort of what I saw. And I came from trading forex, so I wasn't too familiar. Or I was familiar, but I wasn't too familiar with Bitcoin because of how volatile it was, and I didn't really necessarily like the volatility. But eventually, I got hooked onto it, and that's what happened. So I think I got around the time when most people started looking at cryptocurrency as well.
Yeah. What's your favorite coin to trade?
Oh, favorite coin? Well, I think Bitcoin because it's it moves all the markets. Bitcoin, EOS, XRP, IOTA. Those are some of the main coins that I try to scan every morning, and I try to look for. So any USD pair, to be honest, that has high volume. Um, that's probably the coins that I look for on a daily basis to trade.
Got it. And then what platform do you trade on? What's your favorite platform to trade on?
Yeah, so I just got into Bitfinex. I had to make some moves there by using my cousin who lives out of the states, right? Because it's blocked from the U.S. So I had to use my cousin's address and stuff and get that verified. So I'm finally on Bitfinex. It works wonders, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get those fees down. So I've been trading a
Yeah.
lot more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So what's a couple of your strategies that you like to use, especially when you're trading in your trading, are you a swing trader, are you a day trader, or how do you trade? Are you a scalper?
Yeah, so I actually started. I actually started as a swing trader because I didn't have time to be at a computer all day. But I recently, started to day trade and scalp a lot more. Ever since I quit my job, I think back in January. So I went trading full time after I saved up enough money to have reserves and emergency funds going to trade. So yeah, some of my strategies, I definitely use divergence as one of my main strategies. I definitely use mean reversions as one strategy. Um, Elliott waves, right? Trying to get confirmation on key zones and key Fibonacci levels. Um, but yeah, day trading. You just gotta scan the markets every morning, see what's volatile, see what the positions are, um, and everything just comes together. So once you establish your trading system, once you establish sort of your strategy for day trading, for swing trading, or whatever it is, you sort of start mastering that strategy, right? You know the ins and outs of it. You start looking at charts differently. Like I've mentioned on the 4-hour RSI, right? It's usually double bottoms. You start picking up on those sort of things along the way as you continue to trade more. You continue to trade your favorite coins. You start understanding their movements and and how they play out, right? So I'm fully expecting a bullish divergence on the MACD for Bitcoin on the 4-hour. So that's sort of what I'm looking for to go long, as well as some type of bullish confirmation, like a large wick towards the downside that gets pushed up to the bullish side, something like that. But yeah, just have your strategy, continue working on it. You will lose a lot right in the beginning, but I think overall, you just got to keep at it and keep trading, and eventually, you guys would be superstars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's much easier to say than to do, actually. It's a very
Yeah.
challenging, very, very challenging. And one of the things I just want to show everybody, so on your charts, if you are looking at your 12-hour chart, so your 12-hour chart especially, a little better than your daily chart. So with your 12-hour chart, you kind of do have a setup of the the three black crows. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. Okay, let's make sure. This might not be the perfect setup, but this definitely looks like three black crows. You'll see this comes down. You do get a bounce right here. Let's watch this. Let's keep an eye on this. Okay, this is one of the trade setups we need to always be watching for these candle combos, and just the easy trade setups. One of the things I have learned in my trading is I use my MAs a lot. I like to use the MAs and I like to use candle combos. Everybody has their own trading style, and what Eric does. It's Eric is kind of he has mastered his trading style. I've mastered mine. Until has mastered his. Trading Room has mastered his. Jonas has mastered his. We all have a little bit different of a trading style. The one thing I recommend to all the listeners out there and everybody who watches this video is to get comfortable in your own trading style. Okay? You're going to get an understanding over time and hopefully sooner rather than later that making calls, this is not like, you don't have to be 100% right. You're not a surgeon, right? This is not an operating room, right? Where you're not trying to make 100% correct calls all the time. Listen, most good traders, if you're even just 65, 70%, that's a hell of a ratio. And I know a lot of a lot of people who follow us and a lot of people who, are out there in the Twitter land, you guys don't get down just when you lose a couple trades, right? When you lose a couple trades, step back, take a little bit of a break, and then step back into trading. Take your time up. Wait for a good trade setup. Wait for a good candle combination. Wait for something where you feel comfortable enough to get back into trading so that you'll feel like you have the confidence again. Don't trade scared. I think is one of my biggest advices one of my pieces of advice I can give people out there. Eric, what do you think the number one piece of advice you could give people out there who are just starting trading?
Yeah, I think the number one rule, um, the biggest mistake I see a lot of new traders get into is they cut their profits too short, and for their losers they let it ride too long and they lose too much, right? So you're basically, you know, your R&R setup is basically a negative, right? So you're risking $1, but you're gonna lose $2, right? My advice is take those small losses and then let the big ones ride, because that's what I see. I see a lot of people taking profits too early. I see a lot of people holding on to their losses too much, And you have to protect your capital, guys. You have to protect your capital. It's your survival, right? You need to survive until you get good enough where you can start winning. And having a good risk management system, I think it's key to make sure that eventually over time you'll start developing your own system where you get good enough to make your own trades effectively, and eventually you'll be in a profit. So that's sort of my advice to everyone.
Yeah, even me, one of my hardest things to do in the very beginning was I just kept kicking myself because I used to say, hey, I need to definitely I used to do the same thing. I need to get like when I'm in a profitable trade, I had to learn that, hey, taking a little out as you're going, take a little out here, take a little out there. And adding and subtracting from my position has always been something I've learned to do and learned to do it successfully over time. Also, one thing I kick myself in the butt for is not learning how to better use a damn trailing stop loss. to
Yeah, we're all there.
so frustrating when you're like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to take some money off here. This is, and then you take a little money out, take too much money out. It's one thing to take a little bit off. You take 20, 25% off. So you're already up. But when you take off 50 or 70% of the trade because you're like, oh, no, there's no way this keeps going. And then it just
Yeah,
rockets off to the moon, and you're like, oh, all I had to do is
yeah,
put a trailing stop loss, and it would have been a win.
exactly. We've all been there. So,
Yeah.
people learn from their mistakes. So it's a good learning experience.
Yeah. One of the things I really love about the crypto sphere right now is that all of us are all trying to, stay ahead of the game. We're all trying to win this game versus the whales. And that's really what the challenge is out there for all of us. We're all little fish here, right? None of us are trading, 1,000 bitcoins. We're not mega multi-million dollar whales out there. Our job is we're just trying to get out there, swim with the whales, and not get eaten, right?
Yep.
And just trying to stay ahead. And I think a lot of the successful traders out there, that's the key. That's my key, is just kind of read the market to the best of my ability and just kind of give everyone that, hey, okay, just it becomes a challenge. And I don't want to bring the ETF thing, the discussion into it, but the amount of manipulation that's in the market is absolutely insane. And I just think that our job is just to stay ahead of that, and to be playing the game, even if we're one step ahead, or we're a couple hours ahead of it or equal with it, is still a win for us. Because man, watching a lot of people out here trading right now, and they FOMO into positions, or they get trapped into positions. Something you guys gotta remember is, it's happened to me. I mean, I've gotten wrecked in a couple positions myself, when I first started trading. And I don't know if Eric can share any of those experiences, but I think we all have that.
Yeah. My first year of trading, I think, was back in 2012. I lost maybe 10K in my first year of trading, and for a college student, that was big time for me. But all those losses really come a long way. You start mastering your own system, so you just got to keep at it. Stay one step ahead, like you've said, and eventually everything will come together. You'll start picking up on things that you've never thought of, right? And that's just keep going, just keep at it, and just take advice from a lot of the pros out there, and really use that to your advantage.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, everybody, man, I want to say, Eric, you want to add anything out there? You've been doing a great job trading. We appreciate all the content you've been putting out. I want you to know you were one of the very first guys I followed on Twitter, in my tenure, which started in late January. And
Oh, thank you so much.
really
Yeah.
appreciated all your content that you put out there and continue to put out there. Just keep it up for all of us little guys. And thank you so much for coming on the show, buddy. Super, super, super happy you came on the show. Really am.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, guys. You guys are doing great. I know one day, like, you'll surpass me. as well. So just keep at it. You guys will do great.
We
And
need a bull run.
I'll
I need a bull run, damn
yeah,
it.
yeah,
We
exactly.
all need a bull run. Yeah.
I know. It's been crazy, right? It's been crazy. So
Yeah, I
we're
tell you
just
what,
surviving.
the one thing I'm so upset about is, I came into this thinking, Lambos and yachts and then just wreck, just totally
Yeah,
came into a total train
yeah,
wreck. And I was
yeah.
like, I was sold up the river here. And
I know.
my buddy who got me into trading, I ran into him the other day and I was just like, I don't like you. I just told him, I said, I don't like you.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of my friends, they're not talking about crypto anymore as opposed to back in November and December. So that's we can feel the sentiment now. But
Yeah.
hopefully it's coming soon. But you know we'll see what the monthly charts tell us.
Yeah, you know what? And that's something too. I want to remind everybody, please, listen, for those that can survive in this bear market, those of you that are out there surviving right now, you guys are going to be absolutely amazing traders when we come to a bull market. Okay? Absolutely amazing. You guys are in the trenches with us. You guys are watching these extremely hard trade areas with these just horrible trade setups. And we're all out there doing our best. And you guys are right there with us, man. We're thinking about everybody out there in Twitter world and in the crypto world. And guys, I'm telling you, I never got my true taste of a bull market until I got into Scroll. And I thank Johnny every day for that, to get into these ICOs and these potential new products and these coins that are coming out that finally have, and there's more to come. Listen, there's more to come. And when a bull run happens, we're all gonna win together. Okay? We're all gonna win together. Right? Yeah, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
yeah, like Until says, I wish I'd bought in August. Yeah, guys, listen, we're all gonna win this together. It's just a matter of time. Just be patient with us, okay? Be patient with the market. Don't give up on the market. Don't give up on crypto right now. All right, just trade smarter. We're trying to take little bites. Listen, just surviving through this bear market, you guys are going to be able to look back on this a year from now, 2 years from now, and be like, man, whew, you know, I got to go wash my Lambo.
Yep. Definitely agree. Definitely
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So, listen, there's a bunch of good products out there. We are going to do the next Two Gems show coming up. We do have some insight on a couple coins, on a couple things we think are going to pop. There are some good products out there. Listen, keep an eye on Scroll. It's going to be moving to another exchange. Also, we did get a tip on Raven Coin. Just if anybody is not looking at that, so we are looking at a coin called Raven Coin. It is over on some pretty obscure crypto bridge exchange. So we got a pretty good tip on that one. We will be doing Raven Coin in our next Two Gems show. So if you guys go ahead and take a look at that, listen, Eric, thank you once again. I hope we can do this again, buddy. I hope you'll
Perfect.
invite me over onto your stream next, right? I hope I
Yeah,
can
of
get an
course,
invite.
of course,
All right, and
of course.
listen, everybody, I just want to say thank you so much from me. Thank you from Eric, from everybody out there in Cryptoland, and we just want to say be safe, trade smart, and for the Vamp and the Choe, we are out.
All right. See.